Hi, folks. Welcome back to Full Bore Silver. Well, we weathered the storm. I don't think it was as bad as it could have been. Still pretty nasty. We have snow accumulation outside in Texas, which really freaks a lot of Texans out. But, I've kind of lived all over. I've lived in northern Vermont. I lived on the side of Mount Hood up in Oregon. We had a really nice commenter write in from Oregon, and he was appreciative of some of the prepping stuff we talked about, even though they weren't getting any kind of storm. I mean, it's always storming someplace in Oregon. I lived in Hood River, which is on the Columbia River that separates Washington and Oregon for winter. And I remember driving up to go ski at Mount Hood Meadows 4 times a week, and you've got like 10 or 12-degree grade roads, and they don't even pave the snow off of it because they get so much snow. In fact, the at Timberline where you can ski, you on the Palmer Glacier, you can ski 12 months a year, so it never melts. So picture this: you're driving up on this grade road like this, and you're going 40, 45 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you get passed by an 18 wheeler with chains on the tires going 55. It is just wild. But people up there can really drive in the snow, especially, Hood, Bachelor, Adams, Rainier, all those huge mountains. Those are mountain people. There's some really good people up there, and they're a lot different from the blue-haired crazies that live in the cities, the Soros army. But interesting place, and thank you for writing in. And I just hope everybody stayed safe. I had a psychotic buddy drive in last night from West Palm Beach, Florida to Austin. Now, that's a 19, 20-hour drive. He's a psychopath, and he picked the first ice storm in Texas in 3, 4 years to do it in. Not something I'd recommend, but he made it through. He's got a big old 250 diesel, and he had his dog with him, and he's got his go bag and such in the truck. Uh, I got some really psychotic friends. Uh, I know 3 guys that have spent time in Texas state prisons, and they're all reformed now, great guys. But these are the kind of people that you really want in your circle, real sort of on the edge of psychopathy and reality. But these guys you can really count on. I mean, if somebody will drive from West Palm Beach in one 19-hour fell swoop, I mean, if you're in trouble, they're 2, 3 hours away. They don't care. That's like a 10-minute drive for most people. So just wild. I remember being in northern Vermont and going up and driving to Sugarbush, and people up in northern Vermont, New Hampshire, had a couple commenters from New Hampshire, live free or die, baby. These people, I remember people driving around in a foot and a half of snow during a blizzard like it was nothing. They treat the roads really well up there. They don't do that in Texas, which is why it's so dangerous because, number one, people have no idea how to drive in Austin. It's probably the worst drivers in the entire country, neck and neck with Boston, Mass. But they are terrible drivers around here. And it ices because they don't treat the roads around here very well. And then we have so many overpasses, especially like getting up to Dallas. It's like this with the overpasses and the bridges, the elevated highways, they just freeze up. So I'd rather just hunker in and watch some fighting on TV, but that's what we did. But yeah, we're covered with snow. Anyways, silver. We've got SGE, SFE opening tonight, Globex markets, all the markets around the world. It's going to be super exciting tonight around 5 p.m. She gets going. And then we've got Tokyo, Hong Kong, Shanghai opening, worldwide markets. So we're looking forward to that. There is no stopping this silver train. Retail has woken up to it. The banks, the central banks, sovereign wealth funds. I mean, they're even talking about it on mainstream news channels now, begrudgingly. It's going to be fascinating to watch it tonight. I think we see another explosion this week. There just is not the physical. You can't buy it. You can't come by it. It's even reflected if you go do a little anecdotal research here on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, eBay. Don't buy your coins on these, especially eBay. Good God. But stick with your trusted dealers. I'm going to get into this in a little bit. Silver 101 for the more casual observer, people that don't research it as much as guys like James and Howie, Classic Car Traveler, Copper, some of the rest of the awesome commenters. Most people, they're busy with kids and their real lives and 9 to 5 and, just getting through life. And they don't have time to do the research. So hopefully this podcast, this channel can be of value to you, because I do research this stuff tremendously. I try to aggregate information and then distill it down to you so you can pick it up in 10-15 minutes. But I am going to try to distill it down so it's a little more comprehensible to your casual observer that hasn't been into commodities for years, trading equity, etc. for years. Quick point, I saw a post by Josh Fair, who's the CEO of Scottsdale Mint, and then he started the Wyoming Bullion Exchange. Now, Wyoming as a state has started actually their own stockpile of precious metals, and they're keeping them in Josh Fair's Bullion Exchange up in Wyoming. The guy's a badass. I don't know, he seems like a younger guy. I don't know how old he is, maybe 40s, 50s. He's built, probably hundreds of millions of dollars worth of businesses here. And he travels a lot. He talks to everybody. But he did release something I had an issue with. And basically, he said that the reason that silver markets are growing up is because JP Morgan switched long so they could squeeze China. And that's why markets are growing up. That completely missed the mark. And I took issue with him on X after he posted, this, I guess, his theory of why silver is going up. JPM is squeezing China. My response was that completely discounts the industrial demand, central bank demand, retail demand around the world, but most importantly, the debasement of fiat currencies that are all going to go to zero eventually. Silver and gold does not go up like this. Silver and gold are constants. That's God's money. What goes up and down is the value and inflated value of fiat currencies, from the Roman denarius to the Hungarian pango to the Argentinian peso. They go up and down, and so the price per gold is going to be a lot higher in the Argentinian peso when they print 20 trillion fake notes like the Federal Reserve does. It's fake monopoly money. And so, of course, it's going to look like gold is going up. But gold stayed the same. It's just that the currency is completely debased. And now it takes $175 to go to the grocery store and buy some Pop-Tarts and a box of Trojans. I don't know what people buy at the grocery store. I go out in the woods, I kill stuff, and then I eat it. But we have chickens. I eat the eggs. Make my own kimchi, make my own kombucha. Kind of a closet hippie. Anyways, it costs a lot now to buy basic goods, and you need more dollars because they've printed trillions of them, okay? M1 money supply, it's 4 or 5x since 2020. It's totally ridiculous. They're debasing and destroying our currency, if that is your currency. But that's not my currency. Guess what my currency is? Silver and gold and platinum. Anyways, I took issue with Josh Fair, and I gotta say, give him credit. He responded to me on X, and I basically was like, if your theory is correct, why is gold, platinum, nickel, aluminum, all the base metals, copper, why are they all going up too? Is JP Morgan squeezing China out of those? And he came back with he was like, oh, read my books or something like that. And I'm like, I think your theory discounts these other factors, especially the industrial demand, the printing of money, the debasement of currency. So I didn't ratio him like I wanted to do, but got quite a lot of good feedback on it. So that was, I give him a lot of credit for responding to me. So thank you, Josh Fair. Another fascinating interview was David Malpass on Squawk on the Street on CNBC, which I do not watch CNBC, but I saw the clip. This guy is the former president of the World Bank. Now, he said that the Fed is basically acting as a hedge fund at this point. They have lost over $1 trillion borrowing from banks at 5.4% and then buying US bonds to keep the yields down. Okay, artificial yield manipulation to make the economy seem like it's healthier than it is. All right. And then the government, the legislators, I mean, not that they really care, but they think the economy is healthier than it is. They just keep spending. The other thing is it sucks liquidity out of all these banks that the Fed borrows from. So then these banks don't even consider lending to small businesses and other entities that are going to grow the economy in a healthy way. And so small businessmen are squeezed because this idiotic Federal Reserve is borrowing all the liquidity out of the system to then go buy government treasuries that they created out of thin air. You cannot make up how ridiculous this Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme is times a trillion. So this is what's going on. I mean, that was wild that he said this on CNBC, and he's the former president of the World Bank. And all it does is enrich Vanguard, BlackRock, Fidelity. You know, the rich get richer, and it's this whole huge Ponzi scheme. Meanwhile, the dollar is destroyed. Our purchasing power is destroyed. But the one bright thing is gold and silver go up, baby. So, you know, you got to stay optimistic in these times. Now, dumb down just a little bit, and that's the wrong term to use for it. But not everybody is paying attention to precious metals markets 20 hours a day. Like I said before, gold and silver do not go up and down. It's the currency. It's the amount that they're printing and debasing it. All right. That is why you hold gold and silver. It's God's money. They keep printing fiat currency. What is fiat currency? Fiat currency is a non-precious metal backed note created out of thin air by central banks, and they're doing it all over the world. Whatever there is, 60 or 70 central banks in all the most developed countries, all aligned. They all meet in Basel, Switzerland 7 times a year. They're doing the exact same thing. And guess what? They're doing the exact same thing, sucking liquidity out of their own economies to then go buy government bonds and treasuries to artificially inflate the health of these economies. We are on a knife's edge right now with what is going to happen with these fiat debt-based currency systems. That is why you hold silver and gold. These notes are completely and totally arbitrary. So you have a corrupt, lying, inefficient government body telling you to trust in the value of their note. Do you trust that? Let me know in the comments. Do you trust the US dollar? Do you trust the Federal Reserve that's controlled out of Basel, Switzerland? Do you trust them with your assets and your wealth and the health of your family? Personally, I do not, but I'd like to know what you have to say. Gold and silver is a hedge against all of that. That's all you need to know. You have to have gold and silver. Now, what do? You're just starting out. You have no physical stack. I mean, I have no physical stack. I lost it all in a boating accident, with, a lot of Armalite rifles and a lot of gold and silver get lost in boating accidents. It's really tragic. If I did have any, it wouldn't be near my primary residence. It'd probably be buried in the ground, of a buddy with a ranch that, fought in Iraq and law enforcement, etc. You do have to be careful when you are holding it. You need a safe. I would start when the market possibly retraces a little bit, or maybe just leg in immediately, because I don't see any pullbacks in these markets. There's a 1.2 billion ounce deficit over the last 5 years. Industrial demand is through the roof. Ore grades are declining on a lot of these metals. It's going to get more expensive to mine these metals. Also, oil is basically at a bottom right now. Oil is going to go up. But here's my prediction: $85 to $100 per barrel oil by the end of the year. Sounds crazy, right? Market sniper Francis Hunt completely disagrees, and he is one of my mentors. But I disagree with him. I put more credence in Andy, Finding Value Finance. Scope him out on YouTube. He's calling for higher oil. If you chart it and you use some technical analysis, we are backed into that corner at the XY axis. We have formed this funnel type formation. Well, from your point of view, it's here. We're going up. I mean, there is no place for oil to go but up. Excuse me. Whew, that King's Camo is warm. Great stuff, though. You don't stink. It's got the silver iodide in it. Some happy commenters picked up some of those items. Man, this Elevation hoodie is nuts. No affiliation, no sponsorship. Just love the product. Anyway, getting back to it. Gold and silver, I'd start off with 5 ounces. A lot of these different bullion dealers, Monument has been my absolute favorite. That is where I found the best prices, great coins. You can buy 5 ounces, new customer deal at spot. They'll send you nice coins, beautiful. You know, you don't need to roll into Eagles and Buffaloes and all this stuff. All you should focus on is weight. So bullion, that you don't want numismatics, you don't want collectible coins, just focus on weight. And, you know, 1 ounce rounds are a perfect way to start. I don't mess around with junk silver. Other people that I highly respect, like Bill Holter and Aaron Texas Silver, are big proponents of junk silver. I have no interest in junk silver. I know if society completely collapses, it'll be a good method of trading and such, but I have focused on 0.999% rare, precious, pure silver. Okay, that I don't want to do conversions. I don't want to be counting little tiny coins and all that stuff. Like, I want it as simple as possible. So get yourself 5 ounces. I would recommend Monument, SD, Hero Bullion, Bullion Express, Bullion.com, or Summit Metals. SD is fantastic. I took my traditional IRA and then I rolled a huge portion of it through SD and then their custodian equity trust. And I bought physical, which then is in a depository under the auspices of Equity Trust. Now, that's what I did with my IRA. But SD, fully trust. Their prices are going to be a little bit higher. There's a premium. They're the big dog, and they're highly, highly respected. But Monument has treated me so well. Everything's packed well. It comes really quick. They're very transparent. Customer service is great, etc. People have different bullion dealers they like. JM Bullion, I mean, they're one of the big ones. AppMex, Kitco. I kind of stay away from those guys. I did buy a coin from JM and it was completely out of the wrapper. The packaging was terrible. I did a video about it, but what I usually stick to, you know, if you're just getting started, you can get these new customer deals at spot, so you're not paying this huge premium. So just start somewhere, get something. Also, if you disagree with me and you put a premium on junk silver, Aaron and Bill Holter both have expansive video libraries talking about junk silver, and, you know, they might know something that I don't, and, you know, there's definitely value in their opinions. So, you know, DYOR, do your own research. So, when do you sell? Well, never. Some people are talking about rolling into gold when the GSR ratio comes down into the single digits or the teens, and that's the gold to silver ratio, where we reduce the spread between the price of gold and the price of silver. Me personally, I already hold a lot of gold in the depository, and I have a relatively good amount of silver elsewhere buried and depository, etc. And so I'm not going to be trading in and out of these things. I think eventually silver will adjust, become the real currency, and then silver will adjust for M1, M2 money supply, CPI, inflation. And at that point, you're literally talking $200, $300, $500, $700, $800 per ounce silver into the 4 digits. So when it gets into the 4 digits, yeah, I might consider maybe rolling that into new businesses or lakefront real estate or something that, you know, is a heavy asset, farmland, probably more importantly than any lakefront real estate, because I'll just go over to Aaron's lake house and, good buddy. Buddies with lake houses, they're fantastic. So I'm going to hold my silver. I'm not selling anything. Don't even think about that. Somebody was talking about, hey, what are the tax implications in IRS? Well, I don't know because I lost mine in a boating accident. So, that's that. But anyways, yeah, let's see where these markets go tonight. It's going to be awesome. But I hope everybody is safe, sound, and warm after this crazy storm. And we'll talk to you soon. Full Bore Silver, like, subscribe, share. Have a great day.